most dominant newer. Well, actually, Brain has been around for a while. I don't know too much about Cerulean. I think Drake and Cerulean are kind of newer, but Brain's been around for a really long time. But it's cool to see them having so much success now. So,
yep. For sure, super cool to see. Well, it's game number 1 here. The game is finally ready as Charlotte Phoenix versus Mystery Org.
Right, and we're going to see the comps here. Windwalker, Mage, Paladin. This is what we wanted to see from the Charlotte Phoenix going up against DH, DK, Shaman. And they are playing that Mana Rift. Corlic and Jamilia already taking big damage here. That chill streak is bouncing. Corlic is super low. Jamilia as well. Rips out the combustion and trying to get some pressure going onto Sam. Sam reverses the polymorph. Corlic pops the wings, and he's going to stabilize Jamilia. No one actually ended up using any real cooldowns there aside from that Avenging Wrath and, you know, a little small cooldown like Divine Protection, but that's going to be up in about 20. So I think the big name of the game here is going to be those Mana Rifts, and Sam is going to land another one right there. Very nice.
Yeah, super interesting at this point that it is going to be Mystery Org locking in the DK Demon Hunter Shaman. So interesting matchup we have here. I feel like if Mez, Samayam, and Sidu, they're all playing like max versatility, it might be difficult for Charlotte Phoenix to actually get anything going. I think Nick is probably going to have to spend a lot of time going after Sidu in this match, looking for big all-in one-shots. If Jamilia's playing Kleptomania, they can paralyze Sidu into a Kleptomania spell steal, into a leg sweep, into a Hammer of Justice, and try to blow him out of the water. But I think Samayam and Mez are going to be able to put out quite a bit of consistent damage. Dragon's Breath Sheep over onto Sidu. Nice setup coming in from the Charlotte Phoenix. Samayam's going to have to hold on. Blur looks to be enough to keep him alive. And both teams are looking relatively stable at this point.
Yeah. And we're going to see another wind shear here onto Jamili. Sidu coming out with some chain heals there. He actually pre-earthen walled that last setup. And Sam and Mez did a counter go. Mez, I love watching this guy on the DK. Every time, he's always so clutch when he plays the Dark Sim, when he goes for these Blinding Sleet setups. And there it is, another Mana Rift's going to be secured here onto court. Actually, I'm not sure if that one did land. Cedar Knight and Hammer of Justice. Jamili with the combustion. Mez immediately activates the Wraith Walk, kicks the polymorph there by Samayam. They get the Blinding Light. Ring of Frost is, it's going to connect. Barely there. Sidu with some lucky pathing, but Sam, regardless, kind of respected. Trade off the reverse magic. And so far, Mystery Org, they haven't really used too many cooldowns. Mez has used most of his stuff, so I guess the next setup here, Sidu has to try to pre-earthen wall it. If he can't, it's going to be a little bit of trouble here on Mez potentially. Might need to use that anti-magic zone or try to do a counter setup. And here we go, Blinding Sleet, and it's a triple. Let's see the Mana Rift. Do they have a Chaos? But they do. Big damage here. The chill streak is bouncing. They get the triple capstone as well. Nice setup there coming out from Mystery Org. He's going to burn even more of Corlic's mana. And Jamili takes a fat dress to the face right there. Corlic is going to have to respond with the wings. Big heals coming out, the Divine Favor. And now Sidu is getting swapped to. He has his trinket. No, they overlap the trinket and the darkness there. Sam and Sidu not on the same page, and that's going to be a big win here for the Charlotte Phoenix. They can go after Sidu now. He is a wide open target, but Maz could save the day with that anti-magic zone if it came to that, so they need to try to cross CCM.
I feel like I'm worried for Sidu in this matchup. I think he is the most vulnerable target as this game goes on, and he's not playing really much of any defense. I mean, he's playing Vitality Conduit. Both of his trinkets are for, revitalizing Voodoo Totem and the Fangs of Intertwined Essence, so missing out on a lot of key defense, and I think if they go after Sidu consistently in this match, it's going to be really scary for the Mystery Org. Charlotte Phoenix, so look at this. I mean, Corlic, his mana is not looking good. As Mez can stop the drink, they need to stop the drink. Don't let Corlic get out of combat. It looks like they will manage to find the stun, another Mana Rift into an Imprison. And with the way this game's going, as long as Sidu can survive, if he's playing far enough away, if he can avoid getting absolutely one-shot, there is opportunities here for the Charlotte Phoenix. But I think if Sidu stays alive, Charlotte Phoenix, this is going to be kind of a difficult matchup for them.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting situation here. We see Sidu behind the pillar here trying to drop that Earthen Totem before the go here. Sidu needs to be careful here because if we look at Nick, he does have that leg sweep available, and the only time... Oh, here comes right here. In cap onto Sidu, into the leg sweep, blind onto Mez here. Full stun, so much damage, combustion, pop from Jamili. Mez using that AMZ, doing everything he can to feel for Sidu, using that Astral Shift and that Vitality Conduit, should be able to survive this go. That was a good use of defensive cooldowns there. They got to be very careful for the leg sweep, because that is pretty much the only stun that Nick can use to actually get some sort of pressure on Sidu to land a kill on him.
Yeah, that was a really well executed setup, and that opening came from the fact that they overlapped that trinket and that darkness a little bit earlier, and now Mez had to use his trinket AMZ to try to save Sea-Doo. So now Mez could be a little bit of an exposed target here. If they can get a sheep onto Sea-Doo, a stun onto Mez, he could force out an Icebound Fortitude and then look to take him down. He just entered Dampening here at 5 minutes into this match, and now we can see Mystery Org are going for it. They're looking for the Death Grip here. Mez is getting crowd controlled a little bit here. He's running a full gushing build, more or less. So if Mez gets locked down without defensive cooldowns, he is definitely an exposed target. But right now, Nick is going after Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo's just tanking it out here in Ghost Wolf, and Corlick is getting soloed by Sam on the opposite side. This is basically a 3 1 versus 1s happening right now at the same time. But there it is, paralyzed onto Sea-Doo, double blinding light. Can they connect with the damage? Hammer of Justice is ready for Corlick. Sea-Doo trinkets, gets hammered immediately. Camille with big damage there with the Nitro as well. Gonna force out the trinket, Spirit Link, and now the triple blinding sleep, but they don't have a stun to follow it up with, so they have to use that defensively as well. The only saving grace here for Mystery Org is the fact that they have a fat mana lead on Sea-Doo.
Yeah, right now, Sea-Doo, look at Sea-Doo's mana, literally full at this point of the game. But here's one of the problems. I mean, for Mez, I believe he's running a bunch of Gushing Wounds, so that's going to increase his single target damage. He's not complete Gushing Wounds, so realizing he could be a target later on in the game, but Death Strike is such a very important part for a Death Knight to survive, and as Dampening goes up, that Death Strike is going to be less and less effective, and Mez becomes more and more of a vulnerable target in the match. Corlick still hovering around 20% mana, been able to hold on to that mana for quite some time. Samayam's going to have to start landing those mana rifts, or maybe just keep doing good, consistent damage in the match, and Corlick will just end up healing and burning the rest of his mana. Full Hammer of Justice on the Sea-Doo. They're setting up on a Mez. Big damage on Mez right now. He's got the Icebound Fortitude. He gets so low! Big damage. This is a disaster for Mystery Org. They had the Darkness. They had the Anti-Magic Zone. Yeah, but Mez just exploded. I don't know what that was. It dressed a guy at the big Rising Sun kick or what, but that was definitely a surprising end to that game.
Wow, I was actually not expecting that at all. That looked good. Oh my god.
Look ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I was wondering if that was I thought Mr. Org was on the verge of winning that game soon because Corlick was so low on mana, and I thought Sea-Doo would have been the kill target if anything, but I guess because I think Mez still had the Icebound Fortitude when he died there. I think that was kind of a bit of a miscommunication or just unexpected damage all around is what it looked like.
Yeah, we can see exactly what happened here on the replay. Yeah, and like you mentioned, like they have a lot of cooldowns here. Mez basically has everything he needs. Sam has Darkness, and they both have trinkets. They get a hammer and the nice Ring of Peace there on the anti-magic zone. And sadly for Mez, Sam tries to drop the Darkness to save the day, but to no avail right there. And that's going to be game number 1 going in favor of Charlotte Phoenix. I also think it might have been Nick on Charlotte Phoenix running that Maledict trinket. So this is something that they wanted to do. They wanted to get to Dampening and then look for a DK kill.
Are you still a big fan of the Maledict trinket, Zico?
Always. I mean, Death Strike is an uncapped ability. So, like, if you basically the way it works is it does a percentage of the damage you've recently taken. So, if you get bursted extremely hard in one time, you can just do a 200k Death Strike. So, Maledict is definitely the play there when you're going after a lot of these classes with self healing. Things like Shadow Priest, Pharaoh Druids, DKs, even Demon Hunter.
Just everything. Just all around.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
All right, well, Charlotte Phoenix taking game number 1 here in this series against Mystery Org in this best of 5 series. Peekaboo, what do you want to see Mystery Org do next? Do you think that it'd be wise for them to stick with that DK Demon Hunter composition? Is this something that could beat Charlotte Phoenix in this matchup?
After looking at that game, it seems like they were winning for the most part, but then again, they were able to just lose in a really kind of a random switch to Mez. I think that's like one of the first or second times they decided to attack him, and they actually were able to kill him. So when something like that happens, Mr. Org has to be thinking, is this matchup actually worth trying to do, even though we were surviving the setups on our healer? Or is it maybe was it worth trying to mirror? Because I know that Sea-Doo can play, or Sea-Doo, Samayam, and Trill could also play that exact same composition. I'm not sure if they would try to opt into that, how comfortable they are in that mirror matchup, but I'd say the DHGK look good for the most part. I think just they got to try to avoid the random death. They did die through virtually every cooldown. They died through the anti-magic zone and the darkness at the same time, which is pretty unlucky for that to happen because that's a pretty big radius too, even with the Ring of Peace moving Mez around there. So I'd like to see maybe the same comp or the mirror, probably.
What about you, Ben? You are always a fan of the mirrors. Do you think they're going to mirror here for game number 2?
I don't know. I feel like Mystery Org, if they were going to mirror, it would have been in game number 1. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't have locked it in. So that makes me feel like that they don't have a better option. Probably going to be sticking with the exact same composition. Charlotte Phoenix, they're probably going to be happy with that result, and they can just lock in the same thing. The Windwalker Mage Paladin, very durable, super strong comp, but Mystery Org, I mean, like Peekaboo was saying, it felt like for a large majority of that game, they were looking really, really solid, and they had a lot of answers, quite frankly. I mean, Mez could have survived. I think he ran out of darkness. The Ring of Peace on the anti-magic zone, obviously unfortunate, but I think if they had just played it a little bit more calm, cool, and collected, they had the tools in order to survive. There was the Icebound Fortitude, and they were almost at the point where Paladin was out of mana. So Corlick was almost completely out of mana, and if they had gotten to that point, then things start spiraling out of control for the Charlotte Phoenix, and it starts looking like a really one-sided matchup. So I think they can run it again. I think it's likely, with Dalaran Sewers being the map pick, that they will run that, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think with these two compositions, either team can win. It's not like one-sided or anything like that.
All right, Mystery Org looking to tie it up here against Charlotte Phoenix in game number 2, best of 5 series here. If they do decide to run that DK Demon Hunter once again, Zigo, what are we going to be looking for in terms of positioning on the side of Mystery Org?
I think for them, it's all about those hit and runs, you know? Whenever Sea-Doo's in crowd control or getting swapped to, they need to try to make their way over there, make sure that they have a reverse magic or, you know, disruption, counter ghost, whatever it might be. And then for them, it's all about just allowing Sam, landing those mana rifts, getting those double stun or triple stuns with the shield streaks. And for them, the name of the game is just get Corlix's mana bar to 0 as quickly as possible, purge somebody out, and kill them. And for them, if they can do that, it's all about surviving those setups that Charlotte Phoenix are going to be throwing at them. So I feel like last game was going pretty well. They had, you know, Sea-Doo's Trinket. They had a lot of cooldowns when they died. So a bit of a surprise kill, but I think they should still lock it in again. Oh, never. What? Okay. Wait, this is what we saw them play, right?
Ooh.
But no, this is what we saw. Was it? Well, wasn't it?
It was
Exit that
our.
played this.
Yes, it was.
But with
It was
Shaman,
Exit.
right? Or was it with Shaman?
No, they played with a Mistweaver.
No, it was with
They played-
Mistweaver. Yeah, you're right.
But it was not the exact same matchup because Wildcard Gaming had a Mistweaver monk. So it was Mistweaver, Windwalker, Fire Mage versus Mistweaver, Windwalker, Death Knight. But the Paladin, I think, makes it a little bit different. I think it gives Jamili a little bit more freedom. And wow, that kind of worked out. It gives him a little bit more freedom in the game in order to survive. So, you know, it's not going to be as oppressive with Chains of Ice, Delirium, Heartstop. You're going to have a little bit more backup from that Holy Paladin. But I definitely like this pick from Mystery Org.
Is that your second Jamili pun of the day?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
I'm not targeting puns at him. It's just worked out so far, you know.
No, they're good. They're good. All right, well, we're going to be going to Dalaran Series here, Trill and Mez playing that Windwalker DK. Always a classic composition here into Charlotte Phoenix. Windwalker Mage. What does this change? How does this dynamic, the Dalaran Series, how does this change the dynamic of what Charlotte Phoenix is trying to do here against Mystery or Peekaboo?
I think this map is one of the smaller maps in the game, so it could be easier to get their setup, because the thing is, when you're fighting a Windwalker Mage, the setup is instant. It's the instant in-cap from the Windwalker Monk. The Paladin starts to run in to try to get the Hodge, and the Mage is usually sheeping and can just instantly blink onto the target. So when the map is smaller, it's very easy for the Windwalker to get that instant paralysis on one target and the leg sweep on the kill target. So that could be that's one of the main things for that. I believe this was Mystery Org's map pick, right? Since they did lose the first game. So I'm assuming they were probably thinking about playing this cleave setup that they have with the Frost DK Windwalker Mistweaver. And I'm looking at this matchup. I'm trying to think about it in my head. This looks like it'd be difficult to play this, unless I'm just totally off base here, because maybe the Frost DK has lots of cooldowns and things like that. So that would kind of reduce the mobility of Charlotte Phoenix. But I'm kind of curious to see what happens in who they choose to attack and try to pursue here, because this looks a little rough for Mystery Org with this comp pick. from my eyes at least.
Ven, do you think it looks rough for them? Is it going to be a difficult game for them?
I mean, it definitely could be. When we did see this matchup play out, basically what happened was the Windwalker Death Knight, they just sat on top of the Mage the entire game, limiting his damage, limiting his mobility. And I think the really challenging thing for the Charlotte Phoenix is what does Nick do in this matchup? He can try to exchange blows with Mez and Trill, but he's going to end up taking a lot of cleave damage. He could try to basically solo down Sea-Doo, but it's not the easiest thing to do. Chasing down a Mistweaver Monk when you're constantly in chains of ice. I think that really is the big dilemma, but I think Corlic with the Holy Paladin kind of helps that out a little bit. I mean, he can give freedom to Nick and allow Nick to actually chase down Sea-Doo a lot more effective, or he could also give freedom to Jamili to allow him to maneuver around the map a little bit better, maybe get out some more damage, and really help Nick on his setups on Sea-Doo if that's who they decide to go after.
All right, well, we'll see if it works out for them. It's game number 2, Charlotte Phoenix versus Mystery Org.
All right, let's see here. Dalaran Sewers, game number 2. And like we mentioned, when we saw this matchup previously, there was no blessings of freedom going around here. So you're going to see now Nick is going after Sea-Doo, which I think is a pretty smart play. But now it gets gripped in, double, blinding sleep, double leg sweep. There is the Syndra goes to Dragon. Sea-Doo's going in for more crowd control here. Jamila gets kicked, and the shield streak is bouncing. They force out the touch of Karma immediately here. And it's a pretty good opener so far for Mystery Org. Sea-Doo's actually playing, I think, Conflict here. He's got that Way of the Crane, should he need it, I guess. He's in a blinding light right now, Mez, activating the anti-magic shell very early on. Camilla gets gripped on the polymorph. Sea needs to try to avoid it, and it's a DR polymorph anyway, so I don't think Mez is going to be in too much trouble here, but still, chaining continues for a little bit longer. Now Sea-Doo trying to fake out the counterspell of Jamili. Jamili not really going to use it yet. He's trying to save it for later. And now Nick going to try to set something up here onto Sea-Doo.
Yeah, and I mean, let's see how this one does play out right now. Nick still chasing after Sea-Doo. Let's see if Sea-Doo can get away. See where the portals are. That's very, very important. Actually, Nick getting a nice Transcendence portal and interrupt onto Sea-Doo, but it looks like Sea-Doo's going to be able to just shrug off that damage. Not really that big of a deal. And now they're initiating crowd control. Double stun going out. Jamili's going to have to trigger. Nick's going to have to trigger. They're just eating all of this damage. Nick playing the healer right now, just spamming out Vivifies, trying to hold on to Jamili's Cauterize. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it. Corlic forced to use every man for himself, Divine Favor, and top off Jamili. That was a really good attempt by Mystery Org. And Corlic is slowly working through his mana, slowly working through his cooldowns, and Jamili still is getting struggled to top off.
Wow. Okay, big go from Charlotte Phoenix here onto Mez here. Actually opting for that the disarm talent from Monks here. If we look at Nick, he actually doesn't have the Fortified Brew like Trill does, because I think one of their main targets is going to be Mez with that disarm. Another interesting point is that Sea-Doo is actually playing Relentless, which means not having a Trinket's a big thing, because that means they could also swap to him in a potential Hodge leg sweep combination and virtually 100 ohm. So we'll always look out for that right there. But hopefully that won't be a problem, because if the teammates can go properly, then everything should be okay there. But right now, full sheep onto Sea-Doo here, lots of damage onto Jamili. Double disorient here into the double leg sweep. Mez and Trill doing all sorts of damage to Charlotte Phoenix here. Nice follow-up Hodge by Corlic onto Sea-Doo. Disarm onto Mez here, trying to kill him through every single button. Luckily, Sea-Doo was able to actually get the life cocoon in between the polymorphs there. A bit of a mistake by Jamili. They're not able to follow up that CC properly, and it looks like Mystery Org will be able to stabilize for now.
Yeah, I think Sea-Doo actually ended up using his everyman for himself there, just to give himself time to get that life cocoon out there. So he's not going to have that. And now if he gets swapped to, like you mentioned, Sea-Doo is going to be in a world of trouble. Mez he does have anti-magic zone, so he could potentially try to bail Sea-Doo out. But if Nick can ever, maybe land an interrupt or get some good pressure on his own, Sea-Doo is definitely going to be an exposed target here moving forward. And they realize it. They're chasing after him. Ring of Peace comes out. There's the Paralyzed Corks moving into position. Hammer of Justice is down. Nick gets gripped on the Fist of Fury. Excellent place here by Mez. Jamili ripping through with the combustion, and that is going to be the anti-magic zone being traded out there by Maz. So if they can connect another setup like that onto Sea-Doo, it is going to be the Sea Goodnight. I don't know where I was going with that.
See, good night. I like it. That was a good one. All right. Just really taking some damage right now. Double Dragon's Breath coming in, looking for a polymorph, and he does find it on Sea-Doo. But the double blinding sheet into a double leg sweep once again. Corlick pushing in. Is he going to find crowd control? He actually just runs on top of Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo looking like he's going to get a paralyzed. Does he have the leg sweep to follow it up? Jamili going to be taking a little bit of damage. But once again, Nick, anytime these setups are happening and Corlick's in crowd control, he's just throwing out the Vivifies, making sure Jamili is nice and healthy until Corlick leaves that crowd control. But once again, I mean, we take a look at the mana. Corlick at around 65%. And Sea-Doo is completely full, and I don't think Sea-Doo is going to be using too much mana until a little bit later on in Dampening, when he has to, use a little bit more Enveloping Mist and Vivifies, not just completely relying on the Renewing Mist and Serpent Jade statue. And I think for Mistweaver Monk, as Dampening goes higher and higher, it becomes really, really unstable. Whereas for the Paladin, you're always you're not feeling too bad in Dampening because you do have the Sacrifice, you do have the Divine Shield, the Avenging Wrath to really empower your healing. And it just seems like I feel like for Mystery Org, as this game goes on, Mez is going to be becoming more and more of a vulnerable target. Seed is going to struggle to heal, and I could see Charlotte Phoenix winning it as long as Corlick can hold on to his mana.
Yeah, we definitely see Charlotte Phoenix starting to evolve the strategy here. It seems like Mez is absolutely the main kill target, but as we see Nick constantly trying to walk onto Sea-Doo because one of the hardest classes for a Mistweaver hero to get away from is a Windwalker, because they practically have all the same amount of rolls. They have the same ports, they have the mobility. But right now, full sheep onto Sea-Doo here, trying to get some damage onto Mez here. Oh, Jamili actually blinking away from the double disoriented leg sweep setup here. That's very, very big. That'll save Corlick some mana and cooldowns here. Opportunity here, leg sweep onto Sea-Doo here, potentially hammer adjusted out of that. Mez instantly realizing the situation, having used that anti-magic zone here to try to shut the damage down. It's Sea-Doo looking to get out of the middle. Beautiful port back there. Chooses to trade out a couple heals there, and it looks like he will be just fine.
Yeah, and we're going to see now more pressure coming out now from Mystery Org. They're looking to get some damage here. Mez activating his damage cooldowns, and there it is. Leg sweep connecting. Sea-Doo rolls in. There's the paralyzed, following it up with the leg sweep, presumably here. Then he's going to go back to the pillar here, and the damage has been dealt. Jamili taking a lot of damage right now, but that temporal shield is going to be a fat one. It's going to bounce him back up to full HP, but he's still taking damage, basically dying through 2 health bars. Gets punted off the side there by Trill. Mez wants to go for Corlick. Trill wants to keep going for the Mage, but that sacrifice is going to stabilize Charlotte Phoenix regardless in that situation. Mystery Org now going to be on the back foot here for a little bit. It looks like Mez is going to be the target. Sea-Doo should have his every man for himself back up, so I don't think we're going to see him dying anytime soon, and they're going to Ring of Frost him, going after Mez here. Mez, though, realizing it as well. Very nice positioning here, trying to line of sight Jamili there and still stay into Sea-Doo's line when he gets out of that crowd control. Sea-Doo does have a life cocoon for him should he need it, but Mez actually activating the anti-magic shell there instead, trying to just get aggressive here onto Jamili. And now Sea-Doo looking to get aggressive here. He gets the paralyze. Big shield streaks are bouncing. Nick using every man for himself. Rolls out to stop the shield streak from bouncing. But the next time around, they're not going to have that. And that could be a big moment to force some cooldowns here. Corlick's not going to have Trinket. Nick's not going to have Trinket. If they can get a stun combo onto Corlick and Nick, they can bounce the shield streak like that. If they shield streak Jamili, however, that's going to be a problem because he can just Trinket blink.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so important to be rotating those trinkets against the Frost Death Knight. Once again, Sea-Doo rolls in, goes for the leg sweep, and Jamili uses a shimmer to avoid that stun. Really well played by Jamili. As long as he can avoid those setups, those big stun lock combos where Mez is getting the chill streak, it's just going to be so important. But still, I mean, the Charlotte Phoenix, they're burning through a lot of mana. Once again, double leg sweep coming in. Mez getting grapple weaponed in that exchange, but it looks like without crowd control on Sea-Doo, he should be able to heal him up. Jamili just sitting on a counterspell right now. Can he snipe and interrupt on Sea-Doo? Maybe generate a little bit of momentum from that. Doesn't look like it just yet. Sea-Doo in position to get a paralyze. He actually gets a paralyze. Can he find a leg sweep? Corlick actually getting swapped to by Trill, trying to force a Divine Shield if he can. That would be amazing, but Jamili there to back him up. But the leg sweep comes in. Does he have the burst damage to actually take him down? A big Divine Favor heal coming in from Corlick. And it looks like he will be fine. I like the attempt there by Trill, but unfortunately just not the damage to follow it up. Interrupt now onto Sea-Doo, but Mez is looking completely healthy.
Great setup here by Mystery Org here. Double disorient here. Is there a leg sweep to follow? Unfortunately, there will not be. Things looking a little rough for Charlotte Phoenix here. Lots of cooldowns being traded out. Mana is looking a little low. We see Mystery Org has virtually all their defensive cooldowns here, but as Dampening ramps up, all it's going to take is one good setup to completely swing the game around here. Right now, Jamili taking so much damage here, locked out. Big dress got there. Can't use that temporal shield. Paralysis onto Sea-Doo here. Disarm onto Mez. Blinding light followed up by Corlick there. Corlick trying to use that sacrifice here. Popping the Avenging Wrath. Doing everything he can to make sure that Jamili's going to be healthy here in order to keep killing Mez. Mez trades out that IBF and the Cocoon from Sidu here. Lots of defensive cooldowns forced in that one setup, and we see that Nick still does have that leg sweep available. So potential swap to Sidu could be happening here, or if they're just going to keep the pressure on the Mez here. Trill doing everything he can, spamming those device, making sure he puts that reverse harm on Mez, trying to maximize his DPS and keep his team alive here. Boom, double grip in from Mez, double leg sweep here by Trill. Paralysis from Sidu on the push, so much damage on Jamili here. Force Snapshot, touch of karma from Nick and Jamili on the back end here. Corlick still caught in the CC with not many big cooldowns to keep his team alive here. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, well, what happens is that enough just procced, so I think Corlick is going to have his wings coming back up pretty soon, and it's looking good for Charlotte Phoenix in terms of surviving. In terms of mana, though, and in terms of pressure, it's not looking great. They have the combustion. They need to try to land something here on either Mez or Sidu, and they're running out of time here. Corlick's doing what he can. He activates the wings right here, trying to go for some big heals. He's going to go ahead and potentially top Jamili off here when that Divine Favor comes off cooldown. Blessing of Protection was used in that exchange. Jamili now going for the sheep. He gets bounced on it by Trill. Nice Ring of Peace there. And now Mez is going to connect. Sidu still in crowd control. Corlick on top of him with the blind, but still it is Jamili who's the one taking the brunt end of the damage with that combust rolling. Still just getting destroyed by Trill and Mez. This Windwalker DK is just looking super solid here in game number 2. Sidu paralyzes Corlick. Corlick about 50% HP. Jamili once again getting Ring of Peace, getting kicked like a soccer ball. And you can see Mez and Trill. They smell blood in the water. The Just Gas connect. Jamili, what are you going to do? He's on the run. He's trying to get away. You get nice Frost Nova counterspell there onto Sidu. He's going to buy Corlick a little bit of time here to get some heals. He has to trade out the sacrifice. And now Corlick, that was his last cooldown. He has a Blessing of Protection, but that he has wings again in 10 seconds. Never mind. But no mana though, so not looking good here for Charlotte Phoenix.
I mean, this is the point of the game where things spiral out of control. As soon as Corlick doesn't have mana, the only way he can keep his team alive is by spamming out cooldowns, and those don't last forever, although they do rotate back really quickly. Nick right now taking quite a bit of damage. No karma for another 10 seconds. Can they go after him? He's on the run, crossing the map. Sidu uses Transcendence to get away. Jamili still the main point of contention in this match, just getting trained down by Trill and Mez the entire game. 37% dampening. Right now, Mystery Org, Sidu's mana looking completely fine. They have tons of defensive cooldowns that they can work with. Jamili still just relentlessly being attacked. And I mean, where are the openings for the Charlotte Phoenix? They're going to have to do some sort of all-in onto Mez, but all of them are just rotting down, and Corlick has no cooldowns. Jamili, this is surely going to be the Ice Block or Cauterize. Cauterize does proc. He's trying to run away. He uses the Ice Block and still just using that mobility of the Cauterize to run, but Trill in hot pursuit, trying to tie up this series for his team. Can he do it? Jamili just spamming out the polymorphs, denying all the damage incoming. Nick trying to get some pressure onto Mez, but paralyzed on Corlick, and Jamili, I think he's run out of time, using Shimmer to get away. Once again, it gets gripped away from Trill, but now in the clutches of this Windwalker Death Knight. However, Mez still getting bursted down, but I just feel like there's no way Jamili's going to be able to survive, and eventually will fall, and Mystery Org ties up this series at 42% dampening.
All right, 1-1 Charlotte Phoenix versus Mystery Org here in this best of 5 series. Switching to that composition for Mystery Org, that DK Windwalker, it seemed to work out quite a bit better for them, Zico.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the first game didn't look too bad as well, but this game a lot more convincing here. They never really was in any real danger. There was that one moment where Sidu might have died, but Mez with the quick finger throughout the anti-magic zone, able to save him. Trill, good peels as well during one of those setups. And aside from those moments when Sidu didn't have his trinket, it was just all about the Mystery Org finding these setups and eventually running Corlick out of mana here. And I mean, Sidu, he still had full mana. He still had every cooldown here for his team. And yeah, this was a dominating victory, but I'm not sure if this is something that you can blind lock, because, you know, I feel like there is a lock on the other side that might want to play if you do.
Yeah, it's going to be the map choice here for Charlotte Phoenix, and now it's like, where do they go from here? Mystery Org winning game number 2 here, so it's going to be their map choice. They're on the back foot here just a little bit in this game number 3. Do you expect them to continue running this composition, Peekaboo, or is there something else they might change, or do you think they're just going to stick to what they're doing?
Definitely after that game, I was not expecting that matchup to go to the way it did. I'm sure Charlotte Phoenix is thinking that that was a horrible game for them. It seems like they were losing virtually the entire time, and looking at, I'm sure they're seeing how Sidu virtually ends the game with almost a full mana bar, has cooldowns the entire time. So I hope that they would switch comps, that they would not play that again. I'm not sure what their best option might be. Like Zico's saying, they do have Burn X on the team, one of the best death shows in the game. So maybe they could bring him out and potentially try to mix things up there. I'm not sure if they stay with the Windwalker there, that or they play the Mage lock, or they could even bring the Rogue in. But hopefully they don't play the Mage Windwalker again, because that looked pretty one-sided in Mystery Org's direction for them. So
You don't think it would do better on this larger map here in Ashamains?
with the way that was going, not really. It seems like a lot of their setups anyways on this smaller map, they weren't able to get a ton of cooldowns, and it seemed really hard to get a chain that was long enough to have any very impactful moments in the game. There was never any real point where that, like I was saying earlier, how they could just swing the game at any second. They never really just did 80% damage in one go or anything like that. It seemed like they were just losing from the second the gates opened. So probably the map wouldn't make too much of a difference on that, I don't think.
All right, well, Mystery Org locking in their composition here. About 20 seconds left to choose what their composition is here for this next map, or this next game on Ashamains Fall. Charlotte Phoenix then will respond with their comp. What about you, Ven? Any guess? I mean, there's only 10 seconds left on the board, so I guess we could just wait out the timer here for them to pick their comp, but I guess we shall see what they decide to do going into this next game.
Windwalker Mage.
I would like them to play Windwalker Mage.
Oh,
That's
that's a
Look at
Nice.
that! Look at that!
That's a
Oh,
sticker.
come on. That
I
is
want a
not.
sticker.
You can't just make up the rules. All right, Charlotte Phoenix,
Is it a
they
sticker?
are going to run. Here we go. Charlotte Phoenix, I bet they're going to run a mirror match. And this is for at least 2 stickers. All right, so if they run a mirror, then...
That's
Oh,
one
there it
sticker
is.
each.
There's
that was a
2.
quick
Wow.
lock
That's
on that.
one sticker.
That was
Each.
such a quick lock-in as well from Charlotte Phoenix. They are not shying away from this mirror at all, Ven.
This is actually really exciting because there was some words exchanged after the last time these two teams met. Jamili was definitely not happy with the result, and there was some shots fired. But yeah, I think Mystery Org in this particular matchup, they were looking really good on the Windwalker Fire Mage Paladin, especially in these kind of like Mage Paladin mirrors. I feel like Sam-I-Am has been really stepping it up. Trill's been able to put out a lot of pressure, and Sea-Doo backing them up very nicely. On Asilo. They seemed on point. So I think if Mystery Org can play as well in this series, in this match, as they have been, they're going to be looking really good. But on the flip side, I mean, Charlotte, Phoenix, Jamili, Nick, Corlick, these guys have been practicing so much. They're such a phenomenal team that I really do feel like these teams are super evenly matched. And I think it's going to be, who kind of rises to the occasion on Ashmain's Fall.
And with these teams, like you were saying, Charlotte Phoenix pretty well versed on this composition here going into this game on Ashamains, and now M2KC locking in the same one as well. What do we feel like we're going to see in terms of the play style of these two different teams, Peekaboo, when we see these two teams mirror each other? Is there really any key differences in between the way these two teams play this composition?
From what I can tell here, me personally, I've played this comp about one time at about 2300 rating. So me looking at this, I'd say they could try to focus on maybe doing setups on the Mage. They could also try to train the Monk. They could potentially try healer swaps. I've never actually seen this mirror be played out. So considering how strong and effable Holy Paladins are and how much burst damage the Windwalker Monk and the Mage classes have combined, it seems like anyone could really die at any second, especially if someone's caught out with maybe no trinket or maybe they stack cooldowns. So hopefully we see lots of swapping and people capitalizing on certain opportunities. But to start, I would assume people would sit on the Mages, I think, and then kind of base it off there. And they'll try to feel out the game from there, because I'm sure they don't have a set strategy. And it might be something that evolves throughout the game, so we'll have to find out.
Yeah.
This is
Both,
so random.
Charlotte
Do you have ski
Phoenix.
poles behind you, Peekaboo?
What?
What is that? Ski poles? What are hiking
Ye-
poles?
These are golf
Yeah.
clubs.
Oh, golf
They're golf clubs.
That's my new thing.
Well,
Yeah.
that's got
I
so
can't play in the arena, so now I'm washed up and I play golf now. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
I was like, that was gonna bother me all day if I didn't ask what those were. So it looks like the game here is ready. Charlotte Phoenix and Mystery Org tied up 1-1 going into game number 3 on this mirror match. It is Charlotte Phoenix versus Mystery Org.
And they both have a perfect 5-7 win record here on Ashman's Fall.
Perfect, huh?
Yeah, it's perfect. 5 out of 7. We're gonna see here mirror match, and the stakes cannot be higher here. Let me tell you guys. First of all, there's gonna be trash talk on Twitter after this game, 100%. Second of all, this is a lower bracket match, swing match. So, if Mystery Org wins here, they're gonna be pretty likely to have that counter pick in game number 5, and whoever loses here is gonna be eliminated from the tournament. The game is started. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, big start, or very early on. Jamili trading out his every man for himself to get the interrupt on Samiam, deny the crowd control at the same time. Jamili pushing forward, trying to find crowd control of his own. He gets Ring of Peace away. Sidu, what is he going to be able to do? Gets behind the pillar, avoids the crowd control. And now the Windwalkers and Mages exchanging blows in the midfield. No crowd control initiated early on, but that was a sacrifice coming in from Sidu. So I would say that Charlotte Phoenix pull slightly ahead in the opener.
And lots of action very quickly here. Right now, both mages sitting in the middle of the map. The positioning is almost mirrored on each side here. It looks like, boom, Charlotte Phoenix pushing in here. Dragon's Breath on to Sidu. Great in-cap by Trill to stop that sheep setup there. And likewise, on the other side, Corlick actually caught that full sheep from Samiam. Combustion popped onto Jamili. So much damage here. Trading out that Battle Master's big dressing off from Trill. Touch Death has been activated. Bubble Sack has been used by Corlick here. Instantly, Mystery Org taking a huge cooldown advantage very early here.
Yeah, this is a big opener for Mystery Org, but now it is Charlotte's Phoenix turn to pounce. Let's see what they can get done. Jamili getting kicked on his polymorph right now. Both of these mages just standing in midfield. Sam trying to get his combustion, rotating back up. He blinks in for the Dragon's Breath Sheep. Can he get it? He gets Ring of Peace there. Excellently stopped there by Nick. Now it's Jaw's turn to go for that same play potentially here. He goes for the counterspell onto Samiam. Temporal Shield is active. He gets kicked on the polymorph. After that, Sam's going to have a counterspell for him. Sam's just getting bursted here without CC on the Sidu. Sidu just free healing through it. And Sam now once again pushing in, getting very aggressive here. He gets in-capped on the setup. Sam, though, he's going to be able to maybe follow up from that Hammer of Justice. Sidu gets it in time, but he gets sniped with a polymorph. Vitality Conduit coming out from Corley. They need to try to stop the Reese here. Well, this could be Sam in trouble. Big heals coming out there from Sam. And now Sam has a free polymorph here. No Vitality Conduit. Corley's can't do anything about this one. And this could straight up be an ice block here from Jamili if they have more CC. They need to interrupt Nick. He's spam healing. Sam gets a counterspell. One more sheep comes out. Sidu, what do you have? Light motorbike from downtown. Can they get the car rise Ice Cube? They're pushing for it. DR Dragon's Breath. So much damage coming out. Jamili just trying to gamble here big time, and it's going to pay off. That sacrifice, that blessing of N'Zoth is going to come through and save the day here. But it's looking like Mystery Org are just on fire in this match as Sidu gets counterspelled.
Yeah, Sidu gets counterspelled. Dragon's about to follow it up. Leg sweep on Samiam. Do they have the burst damage? Motorcycle comes in. But Samiam manages to just shrug it off. And right now, there is quite a nice lead here for Mystery Org. Samiam, though, getting pressured down, still getting a little bit low. Big damage coming in from Nick and Jamili. One meteor does drop. Double leg sweep coming in. Nicely done there by Trill. And Sidu's pushing in for crowd control. He manages to find the Hammer of Justice, but a preemptive Vitality Conduit. Samiam trying to find the Polymorph. Can he get it? Nice denial there by Jamili. He counterspells the Polymorph. Dragon's Breath's a Ring of Frost. And now getting counter engagement on Samiam. Divine Shield from Sidu, just trading out his cooldowns, and we'll see Paladins do this. They just trade out their own cooldowns, as with Ineffable Truth, they rotate back up so quickly, and that way Jamili and Samiam can hold on to their ice blocks, hold on to the Cauterize for as long as possible.
Wow, the matchup just completely evened out. Corlick also trading out that Divine Shield Blessing of Protection as well here. Right now, both teams waiting for the right moment to strike here. Who's going to go first? It's all okay. Boom, there it is right now. Mystery Org instantly under pressure right now. Full sheep onto Sidu, leg sweep onto Chill. Samiam under pressure, instantly turning around. Full sheep onto Corlick. Jamili locked out once again. Both monks doing so much off healing here right now in the downtime. Currently, Jaw still under pressure in the middle of the map right now. Everyone right now, I feel like at this moment, Mystery Org has been very aggressive the entire time, but right now, Charlotte Phoenix seems to have restabilized. And things he gets here. Here's a full blinding light onto Sidu here. Samiam under so much pressure, trying to spam those sheeps out. Actually opting to trade out the ice block to save that Cauterize there. Interesting choice there, considering Sidu has the ability to ineffable back cooldowns, but I guess they value his cooldowns more than the block there. But unfortunately, Corlick still sheeped once again here. Jamili and doing everything they can to peel here, trying to do so much DPS. But right now, things have stabilized. And I'm kind of worried about that ice block trade-off from Samiam, but considering he still has Cauterize, I think they might be okay for a while.
Corlick has 15 seconds on his third bubble of the game, 4 minutes in. And I think Corlick has been getting pretty lucky so far with the Ineffables. Let's see if he can keep that up. And we're going to see now big damage here as both of these mages are trading out in the open, but it's actually going in favor of Sam I Am here because he just reset his combustion, whereas Jamili already had it. Small victory there. Corlic's going to activate the wings. There's a counterspell. Sam I Am is looking for the blink. Dragon's Breath gets it. Nick is in position, trying to stop him. He gets the leg sweep. He gets faked on his kick too, but it doesn't matter there. Sam I Am now caught up behind the pillar. Cedar and the Hammer of Justice.
Whoa.
This could be the cauterized big temporal shield. Cedar's still in crowd control. Hasn't even gotten his second bubble yet. What is going on? Is he just not running ineffables or something? Cedar looking now finally for some crowd control as Sam I Am stabilizes from that Vitality Conduit. Corlic is in Sam's line of sight. Sam I Am gets counterspell, goes for the Ring of Frost, gets interrupted there as well. Cedar, where's the Blinding Light? He doesn't have it. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to land any CC. Nice Ring of Peace there on Cedar's big Divine Favor heal. Sam I Am in trouble, but finally Cedar does connect with that big heal, and now Ja is in trouble. Motorbike from downtown, combustion. Jamili ice blocks, and Corlic uses his third bubble of the game, overlapped. Now Mystery Org is in the lead.
Yeah, definitely bubble trouble at this point. I mean, Corlic, he's going to have to get a bunch of ineffable truths to get his cooldowns back. Sidu getting interrupted into a full Dragon's Breath Sheep. This is big. Jamili, can they get anything else from Samheim? Can they get the cauterize? It would be so massive. A big temporal shield. Sidu, Divine Shield, Avenging Wrath. He has enough healing, it looks like, to keep Samheim nice and healthy and in the fight, but both these teams are running out of cooldowns really quickly. The next setup could just be the game, and this could be it. Jamili forced to trinket out, but a full polymorph secured onto Corlic. Jamili getting low. He's trying to run away, but that is it. Not enough time. Big drastic outlands from Trill. That's the swing match. And Mystery Org right now, they're up 2-1 in Charlotte Phoenix. They're on match point. If they lose again, they are out of this tournament.
Well, considering how this started off for Mystery Org, this is looking pretty good so far for them here in this matchup. Now Charlotte Phoenix on the back foot. They weren't able to win the game on their map choice, and it's just, I don't know, it's not looking too good for them, Ben.
Well, I would say that match, I mean, it was very back and forth. That's about as close as you can get. It came down to just who got the last setup first. So I definitely wouldn't count out Charlotte Phoenix at this point in the game. I mean, you could just take a look. I mean, Zico can walk us through it at this point. But, I mean, look, no one has any cooldowns left to really work with at this point.
Yeah, the only thing is Sam has cauterized still, but they do get the nice double leg sweep there. Sidu gets the Hammer of Justice. They follow it up with a clean sheep. Ja here has his counterspell, so Sam not going to be even going for the read there, just casting more damage, letting Sidu follow it up with the blind, and that's it. At that point, I honestly, I'm going to say Mystery Org played this matchup better. Like, I feel like they did, because I think Sam got more CC on Corlic, but Corlic had way more breakers than Sidu. Actually, it says Sidu. Well, the CC received stat is a bit skewed, because if you, for example, blink Dragon's Breath and you get the poly, it will count that as 2 CCs. But if you get stopped, it will still count the Dragon's Breath as 1 CC. And if you Dragon's Breath at DPS, it's still going to count that as a CC. So I don't know. I do feel like Sam, at least in the start of the game, had like 3 back-to-back setups.
All right, well, going into this next game here, they are on match point here on the side of Mystery Org. Now Charlotte Phoenix map choice. Any guess as to what they can do next year? I mean, they did just lose the swing match, Peekaboo. So at this point, well, I guess we are going to be going to Tiger's Peak here, but what do they need to do if they want to try and recover this series on their side?
That's got to be a rough loss for him. That's definitely a mental block there. That's brutal. They literally, because they've been playing that the whole time, and then they tried to force the mirror and ended up losing it. But like everyone's been saying, it was pretty back and forth. It wasn't completely one-sided. At the start, it was a little rough, but they really brought it back because they started getting their stops a bit better and were playing better as a team. But it seems like, I don't know if they would play that again. It might be worth playing because it was close. They were able to force out Bubble multiple times. They were able to force Samham's Ice Block as well. So by no means at all, it was not one-sided or completely unwinnable. So if they were to play the mirror, it'd be a very sketchy and stressful pick, I think. But it might be one that you need to do unless they think they have a better option, which I'm not sure if they would, considering Windwalker Mage is just so solid all around. I guess we'll have to see if Mystery Org chooses to play the same thing, because Mystery Org has always been known to switch composition after winning as well. So let's see.
What is a solid counter for this composition right here? Holy Paladin, Fire Windwalker.
Well, the only thing
Excellent
we've
question.
seen so far. So here's the thing. This composition overall is really well-rounded, and
Really
the only thing
well-rounded.
we've seen, the only thing we've seen from teams that has looked relatively convincing, surprisingly enough, is Frost Death Knight Windwalker. So Frost Death Knight Windwalker Mistweaver, it just seems like it's kind of difficult for them to get anything going. I mean, the Windwalker doesn't have great targets. He has to basically chase around a Mistweaver monk, which isn't easy to do, especially when in Chains of Ice. And if he decides to go after, the Windwalker or the Death Knight, then he's getting cleaved down. So far, in all the tournaments and all the regions, that's the only composition we've seen that straight up just looks like it's a winning matchup, is the Windwalker, Death Knight, Mistweaver. But obviously the Charlotte Phoenix, they do not have that available. Their best option is to just mirror match, and that's why we're seeing this locked in again. And Charlotte Phoenix, they have to win this. This is their last chance. If they don't win this, then they're out. And even if they do win this, they have to win again. So definitely a tall order, but you can never count out the Charlotte Phoenix. This is a phenomenal team, and if there's any team that's going to rise to the occasion, it would be them. But Mystery Org is definitely looking solid so far in this series.
Yeah, Charlotte Phoenix really in a tough spot here. If they lose this next game, they're knocked out of the tournament. This is an elimination round. We are in the lower bracket for this North American Finals tournament right now. Mystery are on match point here on Tiger's Peak. We are seeing another mirror match here on this next game. What do we want to see Charlotte Phoenix maybe change up from the last game that we saw here? Zico, if they want to turn this game around, do you think?
I feel like if they play the way they did towards the end, they're gonna have it's gonna be kind of a toss-up who wins. It's just gonna come down to micro decisions and who can get the upper edge first. But one thing that I think both of these paladins are doing that's a mistake is the fact that none of them is playing Trinket. I think if you play Trinket Sack, it just gives you an extra and basically you can Trinket Sack, and then you can Bubble Sack, and then if you're lucky, you can Trinket Sack again. So it seems pretty good. The other thing I would say is that it's going to be about who can control these Windwalkers a little bit more. I feel like both Windwalkers were pretty free for the most part of the game. Like usually when we see these mirrors, it's a bit more defensive, like people would drag the Windwalker behind a pillar, sheep him there, and then they go for setups. But here, they try to stack the Windwalker with the Mage and then double leg sweep them and then blink Dragon's Breath. So it's a bit more risky setup, but I mean, I guess it works out. I just feel like it can go either way if you play it like that. So you can be a little bit more safe about it. And then the other thing, the last piece of criticism I had for Charlotte Phoenix was that one time when they overlapped, I think it was Ice Block and Corlic's Bubble Sack. I think that was a really big point in the game. I think it actually could have won last game if they didn't do that.
All right, well, we'll see if Charlotte Phoenix can turn it around here, tie it up 2-2. It's Tiger's Peak Mystery Org on match point versus Charlotte Phoenix.
All right.
Well, let's see how this one plays out. I mean, 5 seconds away, Charlotte Phoenix tournament lives on the line. Mystery Org just one away from sending them out of this tournament. Mirror match. This is exactly what I wanted to see. And I mean, these two teams are so evenly matched. Like Zico said, it's going to be one of those games that just comes down to little micro decisions, little outplays, little overlaps, and those compound over time. And eventually someone ends up winning. Both Windwalker monks attacking the mages in the midfield. Let's see who decides to engage for crowd control first. Jamili looking like he will use a shimmer, but unfortunately not able to find the polymorph cast. Good positioning here by Cito. At the same time, Sam I Am hasn't been able to find a polymorph. Paralyze on Nick. Great job. Paralyzed sets up Sam I Am to go for the Dragon's Breath Sheep, and now Jamili's going to be the one that gets bursted down. Is there any more crowd control? Unfortunately not, and Corlic should be able to easily top off Jamili.
Sidhu pushing in for that Hodge onto Corlic here, trying to follow it up. Jamili actually choosing to get that combustion right now. Full sheep onto Sidhu. Sam I Am under heavy pressure right now. Trill getting locked out on the Vivify. Sam I Am trying to peel, spam, polymorphing Nick, trying to survive here. Switching it to Jamili. Still Sam I Am solo. Sidhu caught into that full blinding light right now. Could be a potential cauterize here if a big Dressgoth crit comes in. But luckily, Sidhu is able to trade out that Avenging Wrath. And now I believe that Mystery Org is looking to get aggressive very, very soon here. Sidhu positioning closer to Corlic here, looking for potentially that Hammer of Justice stun. Jamili once again getting locked on that polemark. Full blinding light on the Corlic here. Does actually use that Blessing of Sacrifice before that. Well done by him, stopping that setup there and stopping that potential dangerous go here.
Very, very nice play there by Korlik. And now Sam's in trouble. Jamili secures a poly, gets the re here. Motorbike from downtown gets a big chunk of damage here onto Sam, but Sidu is going to stabilize with the Vitality Conduit right there. And now Sidu has his Hammer of Justice. No blinding light though. There it is. Double leg sweep. Hammer of Justice gets trinketed by Korlik, and he uses the, I think, Blessing of Protection as well as the Vitality Conduit. Jamili ripping through with the combustion right now, doing a lot of damage here onto Sam I Am. Sidu in a Hammer of Justice. They shut down the polymorph attempt by Jaw. Sam sheeps him on it as well to try to deny a potential Ring of Frost there. Very nicely done by Sam. And now it is going to be Mystery Org's turn to get aggressive, but they don't have any of their paladins to initiate the crowd control, so they're going to have to go for a Dragon's Breath play, and Jamili gets Dragon's Breath on his Dragon's Breath sheep right there because he doesn't have a counterspell Sam I Am. Well, he does now, so he can potentially stop the resheep with that. He gets counterspelled on Arcane, so he's not going to be able to do that. Double leg sweep coming in. Sam I Am is just getting blasted right now, but still, they are going to be able to hold on. They're going to be able to survive. And now, finally, Mystery Org having a chance to breathe here, looking to get aggressive. What can they do? Trill is getting dragged behind the pillar, and this is exactly what I want to see. Now, Sidu pushing in, Hammer of Justice, Sheep, and onto Nick, into a swapped Sheep onto Korlik. Korlik instantly using his bubble, spamming out the heals, blinds out Sidu, and now if you're Sam, you just got to kite and try to survive that situation because you got the bubble. That was the objective. Now just survive.
Yeah, I mean, Sidu gets interrupted, overlapped with the blinding light there, and he managed to get away without really having to use too much. Dragon's Breath now. Jamili looking for a polymorph. Can he find it? Beautiful Ring of Peace from Trill. Denies that crowd control. Sam I Am shutting down Nick just a little bit. And let's see, I mean, Korlik with great positioning so far in this game. It's been really difficult for Sam I Am to nail the sheeps that we did see in that last game. So I think Korlik, he's really stepping it up. He's always in a position where Sam I Am has to use multiple shimmers in order to get any crowd control. Interrupt on Sidu once again. Big drastic gap. Sam I Am, can he hold on? I don't know how he's alive. I mean, big Battle Masters or something. Looks like Ring of Frost will be channeled out there by Jamili. Gets interrupted. Still both Windwalker monks going in. But these counterspells from Jamili, they're dangerous. I mean, you interrupt Sidu, but it is risky because if it doesn't pay off and you don't get any cooldowns, then Sam I Am is going to be a lot more free to push in and get crowd control. But Sam I Am just hasn't been able to do so far in the game. Hammer of Justice secured. Nick actually getting swapped to, forced to use his Touch of Karma. At the same time, Blessing of Protection out onto Sam I Am. Nick's in a lot of trouble. They use a Blessing of Protection on the Touch of Karma. Nick's getting low, using Fist of Fury, dancing around the map, just trying to survive. He gets paralyzed on the Fist of Fury. Korlik still in crowd control, Fortifying Brew, Touch of Karma, Diffuse Magic, everything trades from Nick. And he does manage to hold on, but now, moving forward for the next minute, Nick is definitely an exposed target.
Nick instantly going for the double sweep onto Sam I Am. Sidu caught into that full blinding light. Jamili locked on fire here. Spam sheeping. Sam I Am cauterized has been proctored so low. Sidu holding the block. Oh my goodness. Gets a 1% ice block. That would have been so tragic to die there. Sidu trading out the Avenging Wrath, trying to restabilize here. They're looking to get aggressive right now. The Dressigoths are on cooldown. There are no leg sweeps. Sidu unfortunately caught into another full polymorph here still. Mr. Org been on the back foot for the last 30+ seconds here, looking to get aggressive, but unfortunately, they just cannot get the positioning for it right now. Right now, Trill just sitting on Jamili. Dragon's Breath onto Korlik. Sam getting that full polymorph. Unfortunately, gets locked on it. Hammer of Justice from Sidu onto Korlik, keeping it going. Jamili using that temporal shield. Great Ring of Peace there to stop the CC. Double blinding light from Sidu as well, trying to get the pressure, but Jamili just full HP. Now finally starting to take some damage here. Will Sam get the resheep? Unfortunately, gets locked out by Nick. Good job by him, spamming out those Vivifies, trying to keep his team top up here, trying to get aggressive once again. Korlik deciding to use that Blessing of Protection here. Lots of cooldowns being traded. We need to start seeing damage coming out on the side of Charlotte Phoenix here.
I would have loved to see that last setup happen onto Nick because right now they are losing the Mage race pretty hard. Now another setup about to land, but Jamili getting polyed on his combustion right there. Sidu actually still using his bubble there. I'm not sure if that was the right play, but I guess Sam is completely exposed with no cooldown, so better safe than sorry. But a counterspell sneaks in onto Korlik. Do they have the damage here to force an ice block? They're trying. Big damage coming in. Paralyzed onto Trill here by Nick. Excellently done there, making sure that his Mage is going to be able to survive during that lockout. But these mages with their counterspells just popping a random combust is very, very deadly. It's an excellent way to try to close out the match. And now Sam have defensive Dragon's Breath into the sheep, and they get the paralyzed Hammer of Justice onto Korlik, but Jamili not going to be taking any damage due to that preemptive sack. And that's something Korlik's been doing a great job with this entire game, just positioning out of line of sight, and right before he's about to get crowd control, he ducks in and throws a sack, a Vitality Conduit, and it's a big reason why Jamili just hasn't needed to use anything so far. So excellent defense here so far by Charlotte Phoenix. They need one more setup here, potentially. If they can land it in the next 20 seconds, there's going to be no breakers on the side of Mystery Organ. Here we go. Nick already getting polymorph spammed on the setup. Triple Dragon's Breath coming out. Sam reverses it. Big damage coming out on Jamili. Temporal Shield is active. Do they have a Maledict or a Spell Steal? Doesn't look like it. Sidu charging in here. Gets the Hammer of Justice. Does he have the Blinding Light? He does. He gets it on the Trinket of Corlick, but the yard from the Dragon's Breath, and now Sam is really in big trouble. But Sidu, preemptive sacrifice there as well, but I think Sidu's actually playing the small sacrifice here. Sam is just dying through it. I think that's a mistake in terms of talents, but Sam is going to be able to hold on for now. Very, very risky there. Sidu should have his bubble coming back up, hopefully for them, before the next time they're in trouble. If that happens, they're going to also get the bubble, the block, but now Sidu in a polymorph, big trouble onto Sam.
Yeah, Sam still running. Musky Protection does come in from Sidu. Dragon's Breath over onto Nick into potentially a full polymorph. Unable to find it. Nice interrupt there by Jamili. And really just getting all this pressure, all this momentum, and making it extremely difficult for Mystery Org to get anything going. Charlotte Phoenix, they've really stepped up. You can tell they do not want to be out of this tournament just yet. I mean, this is their last opportunity, and they're definitely making Mystery Org work for it. Sidu charging in. There's a full polymorph onto Corlick. Is there any more crowd control? There is. Sacrifice trades out from Corlick immediately. Every man for himself. The sacrifice. Jamili holds on to the ice block. He holds on to the cauterize, and now it's going to be up to the Charlotte Phoenix to strike back.
Jamili using that double shimmer there, unable to get the sheep onto Sidu here still. Charlotte Phoenix here has a slight cooldown advantage here with the ice block available, so Mystery Org really looking to try to get a solid setup here and try to get some cooldowns in, try to get back in control of this game here. Things very back and forth here. Both teams right now waiting, trying to rebuild those combustions out. Wow, Ring of Peace into the full Ring of Frost. Sidu forcing out that bubble there. Sam in lots of trouble here. Wow, that was a huge swing in the game right there. That is very, very big. Without virtually using any setup right now. Sidu pushing in, trying to get a rest on Corlick here, trying to get that stun. Full leg sweep onto Jamili, sheep onto Nick here. So much damage, and they need to get the ice block. Corlick trading out that divine shield as well. Instantly restabilizing here. Mr. Org needs to be very careful right now. Things can get very ugly very quick.
Corlick's in a full shape. Jamili's still in trouble here. Temporal Shield activates. Sam gets the re. Sidu has follow-up blind, I do believe, and there it is. Jamili, do they have the damage? Sure, it's finally going to connect. They need a dress or a bike. There it is. Corlick activates the wings, and he should be having no problems here stabilizing Jamili, but it's a scary situation. Jamili moving in. Offensive blink. He gets it onto Sidu. Sam triggers the leg sweep. Trill spamming out the Bivifies. Corlick's pushing in. This is the blinding light here, and Sam has his ice block rotated back up. 15 more seconds for Cauterize. He can't greet it too much. Vitality Conduit coming through from Sidu. Corlick's in a sheep. This is match point for Charlotte Phoenix. If they can extend the chain long enough, they could potentially take them out here or force out some big cooldowns. Corlick has no bubble. The next setup has to be an ice block from Jamili if they can hold on for a longer time here on the side of Charlotte Phoenix. They're going to have that sacrifice. Corlick can get that out before Jamili needs to use his ice block. That would be insane, but no! Big counterspell snuck through by Sam spell stealing the big divine favor there and landing the CS, but they don't have the damage there, sadly, to push Jamili over the edge, and now they have no counterspell to stop the next setup. Sam is in trouble.
I mean, definitely, but with that ice block back available, I feel like Mystery Org, they bought enough time, potentially. Let's see if Sam can hold on. Jamili at the same time, he's got to hold on. Full leg sweep does land on Sam. Do they have the damage to actually take him down? Full Hammer of Justice now onto Sidu. Jamili does find the Ring of Frost. Big combustion as well. Sam with a beautifully timed Temporal Shield bounces his health back up. Polymorph over onto Nick. The Blinding Light, the crowd control. It's just not over yet. Trill, he goes for a Paralyze on Jamili just to buy a little bit more time for Sidu to exit crowd control. Divine Favor, unfortunately not topping off Sam, but Jamili trinkets out. He uses Temporal Shield as Mystery Org is looking to strike back, but Jamili is completely healthy. The Hammer of Justice does land onto Corlick. Is there any more damage? Sam still falling further and further behind. Sidu may have overextended himself. Now being caught into crowd control, he's going to have to use Sacrifice onto Sam, but Jamili at the same time, Corlick trading out Sacrifice. Both these teams are just so evenly matched. Cooldowns being traded out at the exact same time, and it is still anyone's game.
Man, so many ineffable procs on for Corlick here. Oh my goodness, this man is getting so many resets at the perfect moments ever. Right now, still Sam under heavy fire right now. Jamili trying to look in to get that sheep on Sidu. Gets in cap by Trill. Well done by him. Full sheep on a Corlick. Jamili locked out. Lots of damage. Instantly opting to use that Divine Shield once again. And the Avenging Wrath. Instantly running at Sidu. Full stun on the Sidu. Jamili locked out. Sam caught in a leg sweep here. So much damage on both sides here. Combustion used by Jamili. Doing everything they can. Trying to force the ice block out. And once again, Sidu opting to use that Divine Shield as well. Both Paladins just trading bubbles the second they come up on these aggressive goes here. Things could get very dangerous now. Both healers, Sidu actually caught in the first sheep here. Trill spamming Goomify's out onto Sam I Am, trying to save him here. Nice swing of piece. Double leg sweep here, instantly getting aggressive again. Sidu pushing into core to get that stun on him. Gets it. Jamili instantly getting hit by that motorcycle straight to the dome. Temporal Shield has been used. Trill all over Jamili right now. Nick all over Sam I Am. Back to back, so even all around right now. Everyone just waiting. A potential counterspell could just change everything. Sam I Am actually cauterized Proctor from a massive dress they got there from Nick. Instantly taking spell stealing the bop from Korlik actually as well. So Sidu has a bop available in the next 20 seconds. Korlik opted to use his right there. Lots of things happen very quick here. Very dangerous situation for Sam I Am now.
Yeah, both of these teams are running on fumes as well. Korlik doesn't have too much mana left in the tank, and Sidu's going to have his sacrifice rotating back up. He pops the Avenging Wrath right there. Right before, though, he gets paralyzed, and he bumps the paralyze and then sacks Sam I Am. Trinkets out of the stun to stun Korlik. They do not get the Ring of Frost. Jamili taking huge damage right there. Can't believe he didn't proc the cauterize, but they might get it right here. Sacrifice again in the nick of time. They can't believe it. Jamili basically died through 2 health bars right there. And Sidu, he's in a blinding light. Sam is in trouble. He does have his ice block. He might need to use it right now. He's polymorphing Jamili. Trin is spamming out the vivifies, but at 47% dampening, anybody could fall. And if it is going to be Charlotte Phoenix, then it's gonna be a KO. They will be eliminated, as this is the lower bracket finals here. Korlik's in a Hammer of Justice. Trill swapping to him. Sam's right there behind him. No Hammer of Justice though, and I don't think that swap is gonna be able to do too much here. Trill kind of wasting his leg sweep a little bit there, and now I think it's all about the mages. Which one of these mages is gonna fall first? Korlik, barely any mana left whatsoever. I think at this point, just try to avoid damage and do damage. It's not even worth CCing these healers. Let's see what they can get done. Those healers pushing in. Hammer of Justice comes out. He gets paralyzed. Nick spamming out the Vivifies. Full Ring of Frost secured. Big damage here onto Jamili. Trill gets sheep. They're swapping over to Sidu. He has no bubble. He does have bubble, actually. Ineffable Truth. It resets the cooldown once again, and Mystery Org will hang on.
Yep, Sidu does manage to hold on. Jamili now taking a huge hit of damage, 53% dampening. Windwalkers and Mages just putting out insane pressure in this match, and both these Paladins are basically tapped on mana. Korlik almost completely Ineffable Truth procs once again, but it is going to be Sam I Am. He has to be very careful. Nick has Drestagath rotating back up, and there is no cauterize. He needs to be careful, and he does respect the damage. He will be using that Ice Block, but now Mystery Org, there's really not too many cooldowns left. Keep in mind, Sidu not playing the ultimate sacrifice. Sam I Am could just die through that cooldown. But look at Korlik's mana. There's really nothing. There's nothing left for the Charlotte Phoenix. Hammer of Justice does land. Leg sweep over onto Jamili. The sacrifice comes in. Divine Shield as well. Those are the last cooldowns, the last line of defense. But it looks like Sam I Am might just fall down to 10% health. He's trying to peel. He gets interrupted on the polymorph and taken down. Charlotte Phoenix strike back. They tie it up. They do not want to be out of this tournament.
All right, now 2-2. Charlotte Phoenix here tying it up in that last game, and what a turnaround on the side of Charlotte Phoenix, Peekaboo.
Yeah, that was really chaotic. Oh my goodness, it seemed like a lot of the most impactful moments of the game are when both the Paladins ran directly into each other, and everyone was pressing bubble and trading out their sacrifices and having Avenging Wrath up at the same time, and everyone was just all on top of each other. Everything's resetting. I'd like to see how many ineffable procs were up. That'd be a cool thing to check out. I'm not sure, but wow, Charlotte Phoenix, very impressive game there. Coming back from a defeat just in the previous game in the same matchup, to be able to swing it around in something that was just so back and forth, that's got to feel good for him. I was wondering at the very end of the game there if Sidu actually had his sacrifice available that he could have used on Sam. Not sure if that was actually up or not, or if that was a potential UI error, but maybe that could have saved him, I'm not sure, but that really came down to the wire. It seems like it couldn't really get any closer than that.
Yeah, definitely. And here at the very, very end, I think, why even go for CC? The healer is literally They just risk their own position with these offensive blinks. And of course, at this point, Sidu, he did have his sacrifice. He should have tried to trade it out right away, but he's not playing that ultimate sacrifice regardless. So I don't like that, by the way. I think he should play ultimate sacrifice in this matchup. It's such a chaotic, bursty matchup.
He's playing two bops.
Truth.
I think he has two bops, and Korlik has just the one bob, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I think, yeah, you go Light's Grace, Divine Favor, and then Ultimate Sacrifice, or you go double bob. blessed hands.
Yeah, hard to
If
say
you
how
guys
useful that
are-
is because of the spell steals from the mages. So. Not
If you
sure.
guys are watching from home and you want to check out what they are running, you can go to awc.gcd.tv. You can see what we are looking at as well on our side, the gear and the talents and all the corruption that they are choosing to play here in this game. Charlotte Phoenix tied 2-2 against Mystery Org, and now it's anyone's game really going to game number 5. Mystery Org, we're gonna get the map choice pretty soon here. Do we think we're gonna see another mirror event?
No, actually. I think Charlotte Phoenix is going to be locking in Windwalker, Mage, Paladin, and I think Mystery Org is going to cleave them. I think they're going to lock in the cleave once again. They're going to play that Windwalker, Death Knight, Mistweaver Monk, that composition I was talking about. The only composition we've seen really kind of have an edge against Windwalker Mage, and I think that it was just such an important game on Ashamanes where Mystery Org was able to win that swing match and put Game 5 in their favor, because I feel like the series might just come down to, well, it is going to come down to this game, but just the fact that they're going to be able to pick a counter. Although,
What?
Mugambala.
Oh,
So I'm
no.
pretty sure
Oh,
statistically
no.
this is the least picked map.
I think that's probably true. You know what else? Robodrome never gets picked, but I think it gets picked more than
He gets picked
Mugambala.
more than this. Yeah.
I actually like Robodrome a lot. Just a random little tidbit. It's a great map, I think. But yeah, a lot of teams not opting to go with it. Mugambala, definitely an interesting choice. I think the thing about Mugambala, which is really nice, is Mystery Org is likely trying to set up their cleave matchup if they can. And this map is basically a playground for Mistweaver Monks. I think Sea-Doo's going to be able to roll and Chi Torpedo and Portal, up on top of the stairs, behind that massive pillar, into the room. There's lots of space for him to kind of maneuver and stay away from Jamili. So I think that's kind of the idea of this pick.
And do you feel like this is more favored than towards Mystery Org event?
I don't know. It depends what Charlotte Phoenix does. I feel like if it is going to be the Windwalker Mage Paladin, which I would makes the most logical sense. I mean, maybe Charlotte Phoenix, they're just going to try something else, because they're I feel like they're sealing their own fate. If they are, they're just going to go with it. So they're going with the Windwalker Mage Paladin. If Mystery Org plays Windwalker Death Knight, Mistweaver, I do think it plays into their favor. I think Trill and Sea-Doo are going to be extremely mobile. It's going to be difficult for Jamili to actually connect to a target for an extended period of time. And I think this is exactly what Mystery Org wanted to set up. I'd be super surprised if they don't play that comp.
And back here on this map choice, Mugambala, this was Mystery Org's map pick here, so that's going to be where we're going for game number 5. Peekaboo, why is this a map that's really not picked that often?
This map is virtually never picked because it's just so awkward. The pillar in the middle is the biggest pillar in the entire game. And if you're a class with less mobility than something like a monk or something, it's very easy to be kited. It's very easy to have horrible positioning with your healer, especially if you go up the stairs there. The Z-axis completely changes everything. It just makes classes like monks. Monks can actually port up and down. Like if you look at the floor, like say that's level 1, they can go to level 2 and back and forth very easily with just their mobility. And it's just hard to play anywhere. And it's so random, and no one really has too much practice on this map where it's like, thinking it's going to be a good win for him. But we generally always see Mystery Org like to pick maps like this, and also Robodrome. I think they're one of the few teams that ever picks those maps. And for a lot of the compositions that they like to play, these types of maps are generally always pretty good for them, because they're already playing compositions that are so hard to do anything versus. So add a crazy map that nobody likes, and it just becomes even harder for teams to get proper setups and just have any chance of winning.
How many gnomes do you think the pillar is, Zico?
The middle one?
Yeah.
It's at least a full array of gnomes. I think
it's Nomergon. Like, you literally have to stack them all up.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. The thing about Mugambala is, like, yeah, you can play in the middle, or you can just go up the stairs and play on that part, or you can even play in the room. Like, it's like the map has like 5 different maps inside of it. And this is the prophecy, though. Game 5 Mugambala. We've been saying it for a long time, and this is where it's gonna happen. Yeah, it was before your time, Aya. It was before your time.
Okay. All right.
This is
Okay.
yeah,
Is that
prophecy
old
being
prophecy?
foretold. It's been foretold
right.
for quite some time.
We need a Sid pun, a fitting final, I don't know, something equivalent of this for Mugambala. But it looks
We
like
don't need
Mr. We don't need to
enough of
encourage
that.
that. No encouragement for CTs.
He can have
that.
Ruins of Lordaeron, but Mugambala, that's all about
Stay
the
away.
prophecy.
Okay. Well, it looks like Mr. Eric locking in Mistweaver, Windwalker, DK once again here. All right, now that we've got both compositions and we've got Mugambala for our map choice, Peekaboo, any guesses as to how this is going to go? Any setups that we might be looking to see here?
Considering what happened the last time this matchup was played, I think Mystery Org will just try to be shutting down Charlotte Phoenix as much as possible on their goes and trade out their defensive cooldowns accordingly in a nice fashion and not overlapping. I'm curious to see where Sea-Doo and Trill will decide to put their ports. They could choose to put them in the starting room so they could run up the stairs and actually port back into the main room. They might try to play the middle pillar. They might try to play the middle of the upper staircase. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see if Charlotte Phoenix wants to try to run into them or where they want to try to take the game, wherever they feel comfortable. But I think if Mystery Org is able to play it, nice and slow and not overlap defensives, that they should eventually be able to win with just the nature of how much damage they do and the Frost DK, reducing all the cooldowns.
Yeah, we actually have that nice stat down below us. This is the third time Mugambala has been picked this season, so clearly not a very popular choice amongst our players here competing in the AWC. Do we feel like then that Charlotte Phoenix, given the nature of the comp that Mystery Org is running, are going to have a hard time having uptime against Mystery Org?
Yeah, I really do. I feel like Jamili is going to struggle. His mobility is going to be basically crippled with Delirium and Heartstop Aura. It's a lot of interrupts that he has to deal with. They're constantly going to be, under fire and under siege from these grip double blinding sheet, double leg sweep or triple leg sweeps if they can find it. And I just think the main thing for the Charlotte Phoenix that they need to focus on is just finding isolated targets that they can go after. Like, they really have to have clean setups on Sea-Doo if they want to take him down, but not an easy thing to do. I think Maledict and going after Mez is also a decent option, where you basically are just going to have Korlik push in and get crowd control onto Sea-Doo by himself, and then they can go after Mez with Maledict plays and try to reduce that Death Strike healing. I think those are good options, but it's definitely not that easy to pull off.
Did you guys see that? The lower third?
Yeah, they added the little long boy there.
They slowly added one dinosaur each time. In long boys, is that what you think those represent, Zico?
It's 100% the long boy.
Do you have your
I
long
would
boy
know.
now?
I'm a black marketeer, Aya. Being a black market entrepreneur. I think I helped Pika with it at some point, actually. It might have been Wiz. I don't know. Somebody.
Yeah, that had to be Wiz. I have nothing from the black market auction house.
Wait,
I've
really?
got no long boy.
I
I'm
got
not
the
even
connects,
close.
bro. Bro, I
you gotta let me know.
From,
I need that
Sweden
tier
to
3.
Brazil, dude. I got you, bro. I'll hit you up.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you want? Druid tier 3?
I need the rogue tier 3.
Rogue set?
Yeah, I don't even see. No one even uses it anymore. That's how rare it is. It's gone.
But they're adding a toy actually in Shadowlands for that.
Oh yeah, they are.
Well,
All right, well,
Game number 5 here, Charlotte Phoenix versus Mystery Org. Loser of this game knocked out of the tournament.
yeah, I mean,
All right.
stakes really are the highest they can possibly be between Charlotte Phoenix and Mystery Org right now. These two teams, they have a lot of history, and I just think this is it's such an important matchup because as we said, I mean, the team that loses this, they're done. Their season is over. They're knocked out of the tournament. This is their last chance for both of these teams, and may the better team win.
Yeah, may the better team win here. We're going to see what positioning are these teams going to opt for. Looks like Charlotte Phoenix wants to play the upper portion of the map. And actually, I think if you're on Mystery Org, this is something that you want to play up here. I don't think it's a bad space. Playing a mage here, especially when you're targeted, is extremely annoying. You don't have much space to move around. If you try to kite back, you're going to stack everyone on top of your healer. It makes it really annoying. So Mystery Org, though, they're just going to go back.
Jamil, he's on a mission right now. Mission Impossible.
he's
trying
in
to find the
stealth.
polymorph. Yeah. You did it.
Yes,
You found
sir.
it.
Oh,
Oh,
ooh.
Spite!
Spite!
Uh-oh. Sea-Doo, his corruption is getting overloaded right now, and they have the Hammer of Justice big. Combustion gets used. Sea-Doo might just get one shot. He's forced to trade out the Everman for himself, as well as a Life Cocoon. And Charlotte Phoenix, I mean, Corlick and Jamili both traded out their trinket, but Sea-Doo, he does not have another break for crowd control for quite some time. So Jamili, Corlick, Nick, they're going to have another option. And guess what? Touch of Doubt's available. If Jamili can reset his combustion, I think Charlotte Phoenix is going to be able to walk away with the win.
That 100% caught Mystery Org off guard. I think that caught all of us off guard. Jesus. One more setup like that onto Sea-Doo, and he's 100% going to die. There's no way. He had so many corruption stacks. I think Mystery Org realizing this, they're trying to be as aggressive as possible, so they got to make the setup hard to get. Sea-Doo needs to position as far away as he can from all three of them so he doesn't get triple spited. And Trill and Mez need to have a constant pressure on Jamili, so he can't just sit there and try to free keep Sea-Doo. Right now, lots of damage onto Jamili here. Is there going to be any kind of paralysis on the court potentially? Here they go. Jamili is looking to try to get back to Sea-Doo here. Mez doing a great job right on top of him, knowing that if Corlick and Jamili are able to get there, it could be the end of the world for Sea-Doo here. So Sea-Doo trying to kite away Nick here. We're going to see Nick probably sit on Sea-Doo the rest of the game here. There's no real point for him to try to help Jamili unless they want to try to do a swap onto potentially Mez again, because I think they realize that Mez is very tanky. And if Nick is able to potentially land a kick on the Sea-Doo, maybe get him in a touch of death into a paralysis leg sweep combo, they could just blow him up. Here they're looking right now. Full paralysis right there on Nick. Sea-Doo actually running away here, knowing he needs to move. Ports back. He's 100 yards away from everyone. This is Nick actually right on top of him still. Sea-Doo able to kite away. Nick was unable to get that hamstring slowing him. Sea-Doo now paralysis here. Spikes are being cast. Okay, Bubble on a Corlick going in. Full blinding light. Sea-Doo in a lot of trouble here. The spikes are stacking. I don't know if it's all three, might just be two. Full hammer does so much damage.
That's it.
Combustion pop. So much damage here. Anti-magic zone. Sea-Doo's so low. Oh my. So close to the wow, maybe one more second on the anti-magic zone. It's half a second earlier. Wow, that's the spites, man. The spites are ridiculous.
All right, Charlotte Phoenix taking that series 3-2 all the way to a game 5. In the end, Spite Trinket is what won the game for them on that very last game for Charlotte Phoenix. And I mean, like you guys were saying during that game, it just looked like Mystery Org was not at all prepared for that, Zico.
Definitely not. I feel like that was, to quote